Hey guys, in this video I'll be covering starting up in the Queen's Blood game in FF7 Rebirth, and this should allow you to start off with a semi-solid deck overall. I must say it will help you to really crush the early game Queen's Blood players and should last you all the way until the card tournament on the boat heading to Costa del Sol. After which you can actually continue to build upon the deck, and that's actually now one of the strongest decks I have, but using more later cards that you can acquire. So I'll start off first, and right at the start of the game, when you are in calm, you actually just want to continue on the story a little bit until you can actually return to calm. And once you return to calm, you want to start off fighting the 3 Queen's Blood players, and you want to start off with this guy over here. His name is Nene, and I'll actually showcase a round fighting with him. Now what I'll use here is the actual starter deck. This is the deck that you start off the game with. I didn't make any adjustments, and the goal is to actually build the goal is to actually build the all-for-one deck using the Choco Moogle card, and that's actually the deck that I'm using now. But as you can see, it has many powerful cards, most of which you get only after Costa del Sol. But I'll be covering getting a version of this deck that is still pretty strong, and you'll be able to get the cards before entering the ship heading into Costa del Sol. So I'll just do a quick round with Nene here using the starter decks that they give you. Now the first few players in the town of Calm is actually pretty simple, and you should be able to defeat them with the starter deck. Now first things first, what you want to mulligan at the start is anything that is not 1 pawn rating, so the Magic Pot and the Moo. In fact, the Magic Pot is a downright terrible card. I would recommend to just remove it from the deck as soon as you get a good replacement card. Now the Security Officers are one of the best starting cards because they are very easy to play, and as you can see, they allow you to create 1 pawn up, down, left and right relative to their position. So what I like to do normally is to capture the middle. The Alpha Dunk card is pretty bad in terms of real estate because it doesn't actually advance your position, but it does have a powerful 4 power, so you will be making use of it later on in the stage. Now, Nene has played the Crystalline Crab, and that is one of the cards that you actually want to get to build your deck. The key to winning the early game is to wait until the enemy has a red pawn next to your green pawn, like so, and then what you're going to do is just play a card to capture the red pawn. So here again, playing the Moo card here is pretty good because not only can I capture the red pawn, but I also strengthen my character as well. The Grassland Wolf and the, I can't remember the name of the card, the Seahorse card is pretty good because those are 1 pawn card, but they give you 2 power. So it allows you to quickly win the race in the lane. So the middle lane has been completely filled up here, but I've won the race. The points that you have doesn't matter too much. All you really need to focus is getting more points than the opponent. Now the key, now I want to capture the pawn at the bottom, but unfortunately I don't think I have any card that allows me to capture it. So, yeah, there we go. Perfect. From here on in, it's just sort of filling with high power cards as much as possible. So I'll just put an Alpha Dunk here. Put in a Grassland Wolf. And put in another Alpha Dunk. Boom. So pretty easy win. I didn't even have to retry. I am a whopping 15 points ahead, but like I said, as long as you come ahead in your opponent, you will just win the lane and they won't get any points from the lane, and that's really the key to Queen's Blood. Now once you've defeated Ned, you win the Crystalline Crab card from him. And then what you want to do is go into your card deck, edit the deck, immediately remove the Magic Pot card. Like I say, it's a terrible card, and remove the Alpha Dunk card as well, and insert both Crystalline Crabs. Let me just find it. There you go. The Crystalline Crab is a fantastic card to start off with because it does have pretty good real estate. It only doesn't provide you a pawn at the bottom, but if you play at the bottom row, it essentially does its purpose to advance your real estate, and it's only a 1 pawn requirement, and it also increases the power of the card on top of it by 2, so it's a pretty solid card overall at the start of the game. Next up, what you want to do is to go ahead and challenge Nene, I don't know how to pronounce that name. I won't go into the battle here, otherwise it will just prolong the video, but with your new Crystalline Crabs, it should be very simple overall. Now Nene will give you the Cactuar card, so assuming you've just defeated Nene, just go ahead and edit the deck, and you would have won this card from her. Cactuar card is also a card that is pretty okay in terms of real estate. It provides 1 at the right and at the bottom, but it also increases the power of one of the cards you place at the bottom row. But to do this, you need to place Cactuar on the top row. So it is still pretty solid overall. What I would recommend is to remove both the Queen Bee cards and insert the Cactuar cards in its place. Now this is already a pretty good deck overall to begin the game with. Now in Calm, there is a third player called Zahira, and I would recommend to also defeat her just to increase your Blood Queen rank. It should be very easy with your new deck with the Cactuar and the Crystalline Crabs, and winning Zahira gives you the Screamer card, but the Screamer card is terrible. It's a 3 pawn card and it doesn't really do much, it's only 1 power, so I wouldn't recommend using it. Once you have completed the 3 starting players, head to the notice board right here, and there will be a side quest asking you to go to Vash, saying that he lost one of his prized Queen's Blood card. So head over to Vash, start off the side quest, and part of the side quest requires you to battle Vash in Queen's Blood. He's very easy, he's about the same difficulty as Ned, and since you now have new additions to your deck, you should absolutely crush him. Continue on the side quest, and it does require you to go back to the map. It does require you to defeat a few players, but it will eventually lead you to a shop. So it should eventually lead you to Thorin's shop right here as the final leg of the side quest. In between, you will have to defeat a few players, but again, they're all actually pretty easy with your new deck and shouldn't pose any trouble at all. If you have worst RNG possible, you might maybe lose the game once or twice, but you just have to retry. But to lose to these players, you will really require the worst possible starting hand and worst possible mulligan, so it's very unlikely that you lose. Now, coming to Thorin, what you want to do first is go to purchase cards. Now here I already have a lot of decks unlocked, but starting off in the game, a lot of these will not be available. What you want to do at the start here is go for Ruffians. You should be able to purchase this before you fight him, but I actually just fought him with my current deck before purchasing anything. Ruffians is pretty good because Ruffians gives you access to Mandragora and Quetzalcoatl card number 10 and 14. Now if you could purchase the cards, I would recommend getting that pack and inserting Quetzalcoatl into your deck. It's a pretty good 2-pawn card. Let me just go to Quetzalcoatl here. Because it does allow you to capture diagonal spaces on the board. I would recommend removing the Alpha Dunk card as well as one of the Junon sweeper. So remove 1 and 1 and put in 2 Quetzalcoatl card. And with that, you can go ahead and play against Taurin to complete the side quest. Now, if I am mistaken and if you can't purchase the booster pack before fighting Taurin, that's still okay. Even with the current deck here, you should still be able to defeat Taurin. Defeating him allows you to go back to Vash, the bartender in Calm, and to complete the side quest, and Vash will then give you the Choco Moogle card. So I'll just go ahead and and one more thing before you edit your deck, go back to Taurin. At this point in the game, the Titan card should also be purchasable, and I would highly recommend to buy the Titan card. And that is all the cards you need to buy at the start. Now he does also sell the Ruffians, no, not the Ruffians, the Suppressive Strikers booster pack at the start. If you do have the Jill to spare, then you can buy this booster pack. But starting off in the game, you only have like 1,000 to 2,000 Jill, so Jill should be pretty short. And if you don't have the money to spare, just skip this booster pack. You don't need any of the cards for now, and you can purchase this booster pack when you reach under Junon later in the game. So assuming you've completed the side quest and you've bought the Titan card, I'll just go ahead to edit the deck. So like I said, remove the Alpha Dunk card. I will remove both the J Unit Sweeper cards as well at this point. With the 3 empty spaces, what you want to do is put in a Titan, put in your newly acquired Chocobo and Moogle, and put in a Quetzalcoatl card. Now this is a pretty solid deck to start off already, and this should actually last you all the way to the battle on the Costa del Sol, the boat heading to Costa del Sol. Okay, so once you reach under Junon later in the game, you'll be able to unlock the Real and Wicked booster pack, and I would recommend buying this booster pack for the Archdragon card.
Thank you so much!
So at this point in the game, you should have crushed every single player up until under Junon with your starting deck, but with the Chocobo, Moogle, and Crystalline Crab card. And now that you have the Archdragon card, I would recommend to remove either 2 of the Levikron or the Grassland Wolf, or 1 of each. So just for demonstration purpose, I'll just remove 1 of each and insert both the Archdragon card. With the addition of the Archdragon card, your deck is significantly stronger, and you would be able to crush even all the players on the boat to Costa del Sol. And this is the version of the deck that will last you until after Costa del Sol. Now I will also provide an update on what happens after Costa del Sol and how you can strengthen your deck further. But to end off the video, I'll just do a quick battle here on Isabel. using this deck here. Okay, so here I start off the game with Chocobo and Moogle. With this deck, generally, the ideal scenario is starting the game off with Chocobo and Moogle. Even if you don't, you should get it fairly early, but you should mulligan as many cards as you can in order to get it. Now, since I already have it, I decided to just mulligan off the Archdragon. But if you don't have Chocobo and Moogle, I would recommend to keep either only the Security Officer or the Crystalline Crab. Keep only one of these and mulligan 4 of your other cards in order to hope to get Chocobo and Moogle. Because you really only need either the Security Officer or the Crystalline Crab to start you off, and the chances are you'll be able to get other 1 pawn card because this deck has plenty of 1 pawn card to continue on. But if you did get the Chocobo and Moogle card, you're off to a very dominating start. So just place it right in the middle. Now the Chocobo and Moogle card is extremely strong in this deck because every card that you play that powers up also gives Choco Moogle 1 additional power, and over the course of the fight this builds up to really insane heights. So I'll just show an example here. I'll put in you can see your deck really starting to take shape. Even though I lost the middle lane a few times, but it built up pretty quickly overall. So here I'll just bam, and that's it. So the AI has been locked up because all the pawns are green, and here you can take the opportunity to slowly strengthen your deck and use the Archdragon cards to take over more real estate from the opponent. I mean, I could just do this, but at this point I'll just finish off the match. So you can see an absolutely dominating match when you have Choco Moogle, and if you don't have Choco Moogle, just the sheer fact that you have plenty of cards that strengthen your allies should also allow you to win the race.
Feels good to find someone who gives me a real run for my money.
So I'll just end off the video here just to have a quick look at the deck again. So this is the version of the deck before boarding the boat to Costa del Sol. And you should fairly easily win the early game with this. I've actually continued to build on this version of the deck, and this is the current version that I have. I'm somewhere in chapter 9 now, I believe. Oops. Somewhere in chapter 9 now, I believe. And this is actually my strongest deck. I've actually built a few others with different approaches, but this is the most consistent one, mainly because majority of the cards in this deck are 1 pawn cards, and they capture a lot of real estate, and even the 2 pawn cards themselves function both to buff and to capture more real estate as well. Really only the ones that is there for the gimmick is the Loveless and the Choco Jockey and the Ifrit card. But these cards are there to further enhance the rest of the deck. So Loveless enhances all allied cards around it, which is insane when compared to Choco Moogle. Chocobo Jockey gives you a whopping +10 if you win the race on the lane. and you should most of the time achieve this anyway, so it is essentially a 2-pawn 12 power card. And Ifrit is actually pretty good despite it being a 3-pawn card. If you did get Ifrit at the start, I would recommend to just keep it in your opening hand because it's easy to have your first column into 3 pawns. You start off with already 1 pawn, so you just need to add 2 more pawns and you can play Ifrit. And Ifrit is like a souped up Choco Moogle. Each time you buff a card, it gets plus 2 power. So if you did have a scenario with Ifrit and Choco Moogle card at the start, you'll really easily hit like 50 to 60 score overall in the stage, which is pretty insane. That's it. I'll continue on with other decks that you can get access to in chapter 7 to 10 roughly. But until then, I hope this video helps starting off in your Queen's Blood game. Thank you.